So welcome back to another video. We are over at my local circuit, the Three Sisters in Wigan, and we have come over to the Drift Championship to have a look at this. This is a BMW powered rear wheel drive Golf Mk1. Let's dive in and let's have a look at the fab work and what's going on here and why it's entered the Drift Championship. So hopefully the audio will come out right. Come over to see this creation. As I said in the introduction, it's a Golf Mk1 shell with basically full space frame underneath. We'll look at that shortly, but it's running an E36 M50 engine which has been turbocharged with a Pulsar turbo. It is a GTX 3076. It runs the E36 gearbox, it runs an MX5 rear diff, custom prop, and as I said, full space framed. So let's dive in and let's take a closer look. Take a bit to warm up.
I bought a racing dash, but it didn't work. So 70 quid tablet does the job.
To do the job, yeah. Have you got a good ECU? Oh, it's a black as well, yeah, it does everything.
Yeah, it's only a cheap ECU, but
they're good black, you know.
yeah, they're alright.
Let's dive into what's at the engine bay area. So as you can see, all tubular chassis all the way through. As with the rear, it's all frame. Now that there is some of the reason to assist on helping mount the original BMW parts onto the car. So from quick looking, the chassis ends have been cut off, the Golf Mk1, and they've been tubed forward. So that would assist basically being able to lift up the BMW subframe underneath to allow all the steering angles, bottom arm, track rod ends, you know, everything off the BMW can mount in. And then you've literally, all you've got to do is mount the fixed point for the shocker tops. And that's relatively simple because it's predetermined by the subframe location. So this is obviously a BMW M50 engine with a Pulsar 3076 Turbo. It runs 350 horsepower to the rear wheels. It is basically a bone stock engine bar ARP head studs. It is super cool under here. I love tube chassis work, how everything's just kind of fitted around it. And what I do like is when they put little frameworks on to assist on mounting the original body panels. So again, it's not overly stupidly spec'd. Obviously it's stock engine. I'm going to get stock injectors just on an aftermarket ECU so it can run the big turbo, but really neat, really cool fab work. And let me tell you, this thing definitely turns some heads when it's out there, because as you can see from the pits, it's all BMWs, all Japanese, and this is the only old school drift car here today. So I've been able to slide underneath to have a look at how the back end's all done. So this is a full MX5 back axle and subframe mounted under the Golf Mk1. Standard diff, standard shafts, arms, suspension, all basically the back end has been space framed and kind of all fabricated to take this setup, which is quite good on the principle of MX-5s are well known for kind of being a cheap drifter, and also parts are very, very readily available. You can literally go to many scrap yards and find them. It has a custom prop, which obviously will have been shortened to take the Mark 1, but as you can see under here, all MX-5 with, again, I'm going to guess this is something to do with the fuel tank. The exhaust goes off to one side because obviously the diff's in the way, but very, very smart idea to use readily available parts. Just watching these things go around, they take some hammer. Been able to slide underneath the front. This is the standard E36 subframe, which if you look where it's tubular chassis, has been mounted either side. I think you can see there and there. Because the BMW car as a brand is massive in the drifting, parts again very readily available. You could walk the pits and I reckon you could find many parts of this already, just that people have spares, you know, even down to front hubs and suspension, hence having the tubular shocker top mounted in kind of like floating space makes it so the Golf can run all the BMW setup, and it just bolts in to make it reliable and cheap. Let's dive in and let's have a look at the rear. This is full space framed, as you can see, all down this side, and the space frame has been made, as you can see the mounting points, to take the MX-5 complete rear axle, which does make it a lot easier because you would technically just cut out the Golf Mark 1 floor, tubular frame the rear, and mount the MX-5 back axle, as you can see on this side, which goes there. He's then obviously cut out and made this area for the MX-5 rear suspension, and because you've used the subframe of the MX-5, all the geometry is right. You've literally just got to take the pickup points and take it as off the framework, as you can see here where it all ties in. So technically, a little bit like my Corsa, you could cut the car off and this would still stay intact and still would run and drive. The Golf Mark 1 is kind of a superficial shell over the space frame. Very, very cool and very, very different, which is why I've come to see this car in person, because as we know, I love anything different, anything fabrication, and anything which stands out. So I climbed inside to have a bit of a look and closer look. Now, how I found Jamie was, he's a metal guy, and I think his company's called Must Weld Motorsport. So looking at his metal guy, obviously you follow everyone's work, and the reason why I picked up on him was, I love his panel work, how he makes the swage lines in all the panels, and that's how I picked up on Jamie's work, because when I'm building the Audi Quattro, this is the type of exhaust, the transmission tool I want to put in, where it's got all the nice, really nice swaging work. So that's how I met him. We got chatting, hence me getting introduced to his car. So to point out some bits inside, these are the two, obviously the aluminium pipes which come off the radiator which feed the engine. Behind this panel, I would guess it splices into these pipes, which are like the heater matrix pipes, which then feed the heater box, which go to the demisters. Again, everything tube chassis, all the transmission tunnels been tube chassis. I think they are factory Golf Mark 1 floors, but again, roll cage, all the roll cage tied in. It's on an ECU Masters black, which then feeds a cheap, obviously small tablet. The driver's seat is very, very far back behind the B post, which I would guess is to allow a little bit more weight further back to allow grip on the rear. We have an OBP pedal box, again individual sleigh cylinders. I wonder if the BIOS is put to one side, I'll ask the question later on. Hydraulic handbrake with his fire mask on, you're gonna need them for drifting, but again, all nicely done, all nicely swayed. Really, really nice panel work on this car, really, really impressive. So most people would write a job sheet on a piece of paper, but not Jamie. He's wrote it on the bonnet, so he can work through the bonnet and work through the list, tick it off as he goes. So he's about to go out now to do some drift battles. So we've done a bit of learning, let's watch it. So here comes Jamie. Now what is interesting is he actually warmed the tyres up. This is why they do this type. I thought it was no grip, but warming the tyres to get the grip up. Look at this BMW, giant LSX V8 and a Pro charger. Look at the size of this thing. This will make some serious horsepower, and I suppose this goes back to such a stunning build to be able to rub doors and bump sills. I just can't get my head around it, and especially the one that's parked next to it. This is a beautiful build. Look at it under here. Again, V8 turbocharged. It is stunning under this engine bay. So clean and well built. It's like a show car, never mind a drift car. So I'm going to sign this video off. What can I say? The Golf, what a build. Turning heads, and it's definitely doing its job on the track drifting. Jamie can drive, he can certainly pedal, and his fabrication work is pretty damn impressive as well. Bit of newfound respect for these guys because of, I still don't understand the competition side. I don't really get that, but how these cars are all turned out is immense. The fit, the finish, the quality of build, the parts, the specs, they are phenomenal. And to be like a 600-700 horsepower cars, some are up to 1,000 horsepower, and they just sit on the limiter all the way around. We'll sign this one off. I hope you all enjoyed it, and I'll see you all on the next video.